It's live. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you all to this semester's final View from the Top. Our View from the Top speaker series gives the college community a chance to hear the best of today's global leaders and technology industry visionaries. I'd like to thank Theta Tau Professional Co-ed Engineering Fraternity and Tau Beta Pi Engineering Honor Society for co-sponsoring today's lecture. And I'd like to thank them very much for co-sponsoring this with the Berkeley Engineering Fund. Their volunteers are out there. Here are two exemplars. Before I introduce Chancellor Bergenau, who will introduce our speaker, I'd like to announce some great news that we received yesterday. The UC Regents gave the final vote of approval for our new Berkeley Engineering Professional Master's program. This is a one-year accelerated Master of Engineering degree program for students who want a thorough grounding in current science and technology, but also wish to apply their learning in leadership and management roles at established and emerging companies. The College of Engineering has been planning this program for over a year with the guidance and support from our speaker, Coleman Fung, and we are thrilled to be able to open this program to applications on the 1st of December. The inaugural class will start fall 2011, and I hope to see a number of you in it. Many people in this room have contributed a huge amount of time and effort to developing and launching this program. I'd like to ask the members of the Fung Institute MEng Task Force, headed by Professor Jitendra Malik and Donna Craig, to please stand and be recognized. There are also a number of special guests, many of them who are here today, who were instrumental in the development of this program, including Chancellor Robert Bergenau in the front row here, Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost George Breslauer, Dean of the Graduate Division, I saw him, oh, there you are, Andrew Zeri, and the Chair of the Berkeley Academic Senate, Professor Fiona Doyle. So let's give them also a round of applause. I'll keep my remarks brief. I know some of you are worried about my talking here. But I just want to tell you a little bit about this new professional master's degree. It combines coursework in technology, innovation, and management with intensive study in an engineering field. Students will start and finish the program as a tightly knit cohort and develop strong professional networks they can rely on throughout their careers. Rather than a traditional research-oriented master's thesis, as with our MS program, graduates will complete a hands-on integrative capstone project, putting their newly acquired knowledge to work, solving actual industry problems identified by industry and other sponsors. This professional master's program complements our current BS, MS, and PhD programs and expands the impact of our students, faculty, and Berkeley Engineering overall. Berkeley Engineering graduates have been founders and leaders of companies like Google and Qualcomm and many others, and about 60% of our PhDs actually go to industry despite our best efforts to make them academics. But that career trajectory has been driven primarily by our students' own initiative and the steady stream of exciting developments in the world of technology. We've realized that here we need to take a more proactive stance. It's good for the school, it's good for our students, and it will be good for society. We know that high-value job creation and new economic development are essential to the future. We also know that of the 100 fastest-growing U.S. companies, 15 are based in California, and of those, 3/4 are technology-based. According to Fortune magazine, 57 of the 500 largest U.S. companies are headquartered in California, and over 70% of them are technology-based. The Professional Master's Program is designed to fast-track our students into the technology workforce in meaningful positions with excellent salary levels. We expect graduates of this really intensive one-year program. In that part, we're going to continue this drink of water out of the fire hydrant model. to be much sought after in Silicon Valley and other high-tech hubs. While a traditional MS in engineering is a waypoint en route to a doctorate, the professional master's program explicitly prepares students and graduates for a career path that leads to management and executive positions in industry, government, and not-for-profits as well. Towards that end, all students in the program will complete a core leadership curriculum taught by Berkeley Engineering faculty and guest lecturers with industry and entrepreneurial experience. Classes will cover key management and leadership concepts relevant to enterprises in actual business situations. Case studies and team projects will illuminate industry trends and potential new products and services. So what we're saying is that we'll be able to do case studies even before these cases happen in industry. Our college will offer, and I was really thrilled to see the faculty of the college step up to this, will offer 16 engineering concentrations for these one-year professional masters, drawn from 5 departments: electrical engineering, computer science, industrial engineering and operations research, material science and engineering, mechanical engineering, and nuclear engineering. I should say that bioengineering sort of jumped the gun, and they are already offering their masters in translational medicine this year. So that's in addition to these. Civil engineering will, I hope, jump in next year. Each concentration requires a significant amount of technical coursework. Our alumni in the corporate and not-for-profit enterprises tell us their organizations are hungry for people with a combination of technical depth and business savvy. They view the program's capstone project as a unique opportunity for students to work on real-world problems and within the university environment, but in a way that reaches out into the broader world, and with the support of both faculty and industry mentors. Our friends in industry want technologists who understand the innovation process and have the people skills to lead multidisciplinary teams. We mean to provide our new master's graduates with that skill set in an accelerated, focused one-year program. These are individuals who want to change the world, and we don't want to slow them down. The mission of Berkeley Engineering is educating leaders, creating knowledge, and serving society. And thanks to the generosity and vision of our speaker today, Coleman Fung, our new professional master's program is a superb exemplar of that mission. I'd like to invite Chancellor Bergenau, who will now introduce the special gift. Chancellor.
Thank you, Shankar, and congratulations to you and everyone at the College of Engineering who have worked so hard to make this new professional master's degree a reality. And I'm honored to introduce our speaker, Coleman Fung, someone whom I've had the benefit of becoming a quite good friend with over the last several years. Coleman is a native of Hong Kong and graduated from Berkeley in 1987 with a BS in Industrial Engineering and Operations Research. He also, it happens, holds a master's degree in Management Science and Engineering from Stanford. However, tomorrow he will be wearing blue and gold, which he bleeds, not red, and he assured me and we're going to celebrate Cal's victory after the game tomorrow. So, indeed, actually, even the idea he might wear red, if you spend any time with Coleman at all, you'll discover that he's one of our graduates who just has incredible passion for Berkeley, and it's inspiring just to be around him. He came here as a student because he admired Berkeley's culture of activism and engagement in world issues. He credits Berkeley with encouraging him to question conventional wisdom, to think critically, and to integrate what is learned in the classroom with the drive to make an impact on important problems. These experiences led him to start the company OpenLink in 1992. As a young securities trader on Wall Street, he saw how poorly the back-end trading functions were being managed. And then, in the typical Cal way, he said to himself, there's got to be a better way. So he drew from his engineering background to develop software that integrated these functions in a more seamless and robust fashion. And he rounded up the capital to launch OpenLink. The company develops products to support financial markets and energy markets and has been extraordinarily successful. Coleman's passion for Berkeley has inspired him to become involved as a tireless volunteer and generous benefactor. Whenever he travels on business, whether it's to Beijing, Sao Paulo, or Singapore, he seeks out other Cal alumni and helps them strengthen their affiliation with the campus. We're delighted that Coleman has come here to share his perspectives with us, so let me now invite Coleman to share his view from the top remarks with all of us today. Coleman Fung.
Well, good afternoon. Again, thank you so much for the work that you guys have done. Without your tireless effort, we would not be here today celebrating. And I actually prepared something to say that probably most of you expect me to say. Why investing in engineering leadership? But you know what? In a traditional Berkeley way, let's skip that. Let's make it a little bit more interesting, more interactive. I want you to help me. So instead of looking at why engineering leadership from the outside looking in, let's look at it from the inside out, starting with us, engineers. So we love math, we love science, we love engineering classes. That's given. But you know what? Over the years, I have discovered something very interesting. So I'll start with this example, and then I need you guys to jump in and help me out. I have discovered, based on a very unscientific samples of engineering and technology friends and colleagues, that, you know, most of us are very obsessive compulsive and very controlling. All the parameters and variables, we have to be in control. So I want to make sure this is the case. So I need to see hands raised that if you think you are not obsessive, now the keyword not obsessive compulsive, raise your hand. Okay, that's good. That's exactly where we are. So that's how we started. You know, that's very important. Being obsessive compulsive. Now, it's good and bad. The key component here is that we need to manage that part. Without our obsessive compulsiveness, we won't get anything done. But yet, if you don't know how to control and unleashing that obsessiveness, you won't get anything done either. So over the years, I've seen a lot of friends and colleagues that are 100 times, 1,000 times smarter than I am, but they usually get stuck. And let's talk about controlling as well. You know, that's how we are trained. You know, we control our environment to get experiment done. We run projects, we have control groups. That's like in our bone, in our DNA, that's what we do. But a lot of the time, once you are outside in the real world, real problems, they don't present themselves the way we see them in classrooms. And we have to be more flexible. And that's part of the reason why, if we can manage the balance between our obsessions and our way of looking at things, you can actually get a lot further. So that's a really critical attribute of being a successful engineer. To me, if you can inspire, if you can motivate people to work harder than you ever could, that's more than slave labor. That's leadership. Now, that's one quality of leadership. So what are the other qualities of leadership that we may actually already have as engineers? So I need you guys to help me out, especially students. What do you think? What other quality we have? Come on, you have to get outside of your comfort zone.
Well, as Berkeley engineers, we're pretty interdisciplinary. We have to take humanities classes, so we are able to, look at other perspectives.
Thank you. Very critical. Gentlemen, ladies, everybody. The real world outside is not just engineering problems. In fact, I was in a very interesting, very fun panel discussion the other day about green energy investment. And everything we do is really system-based. Your technical innovation is a component of that system. But how do you actually scale that? How do you actually connect with your customers? It's hugely difficult to do. And again, at Berkeley, even though when I were like you guys sitting next to you, complaining about why do I have to take these humanity classes and all that requirement, but trust me, you need these classes. You need to develop that capabilities to really connect not just with your own peers, your staff, your boss. You need to connect with your customer. Why are you doing this? Now, a lot of the time we get carried away. We do stuff for technology's sake. That's okay. That could be the beginning. But by the time you finish your journey, hopefully you are at a place where you are connected with your market, with your people. That's very important. Let's have another attribute.
We have the ability to think critically and think very logically about very complex problems.
Thank you. Cannot be more true, especially Berkeley engineers. So over the years, as I participate in a lot of discussion, meeting, you can usually tell who the engineers are because they are usually the smartest. The only challenge is that most of the time they don't speak up. You see they are thinking, you see they're developing the solution, but they don't raise their hand or they don't speak up. So, again, why you need to develop that leadership skill? You actually have it. And the type of problems that we face today, we have to look at it from a sort of, I'm an IUR guy, so I like to imagine, since I was called imaginary engineers from day one, you need to imagine the big picture. Technology, specific discipline, all these gadgetry, it's great. That's why we love being engineers, right? But again, you need to look, at different levels of the spectrums and the impact and where you're going to take these technologies, these innovations, and the types of issues that you're going to have to face to deal with. Now, engineers, we have done our fair share of mistakes in the past, sometimes not paying attention to the environmental impacts of invention that we create. Sometimes we're not paying attention to other issues. But this is where, again, I need you guys to broaden your horizon, start something technical, and expand the applications. And as you know, we have a lot of issues today, face us today in the country. Whether you're looking at K-12 education, looking at the efficiency of our government, especially my dear friends here, California is in big trouble. And actually, we had this conversation a couple years ago at the peak of the financial crisis. And I said to Chancellor, I said, Bob, it's not just a phase, it's the new normal. And we have to deal with that. And so that means you have to really develop sensitivities to a lot of things, including finance. You need to understand finance, money, is like oxygen. Without it, doesn't matter how good your idea is, it's going to die. So even the great institution like Berkeley, without financial support, without proper nurturing, we are not going to maintain that access and excellence that we cherish so much. So, another attribute, my friends. Initiative, great. That's an extremely important attribute. Let me give you examples. So I started out as an investment banker. Now, back then, let me just back up a little bit. Back then, we were actually doing real jobs. So when I was trading, when I was marking to market my interest rate swap, I was helping American Airlines to cover its interest rate exposure when it was purchasing like 20-some-odd airplanes. We have to help them. But nowadays, that job's change. So initiative for me is that if I didn't take the initiative to really understand what we do and where we're going to go next, OpenLink would probably never be what it is today. I did not know anything about the energy market. I learned from Solomon Brothers as my first job, about the whole financial market, the ins and outs of different variations. But back then, financial market was never, the energy market didn't exist, period. So I took the initiative that even I knew nothing about energy market, or it was just in the beginning phase of the market development. I said, you know what, I want to learn a little bit about that. And I was lucky enough that the project manager at one of my customers, his brother-in-law is a JP Morgan project manager looking for partnership. So I took the initiative, I love to talk to them, even though I didn't have anything that JP Morgan could use. But because of that initiative, I was able to sell JP Morgan the idea that we could actually develop all the stuff. So that's initiative. That's an example that never be afraid, even though you don't know anything. But you have a Berkeley education. You can figure that out. Another one, please. Okay, so that's part of the obsessive compulsive. You have to have it, because otherwise you can't get anything done. Because you have to make sure you cross all the T and dot every I. And that's my example, that without that kind of diligence, you can't just stay above certain high level. Now, back to my original question about finding the balance. So you don't want to dive down into the detail in everything you do, especially if you are managing a team. You want to give them the space and the accountability. And in fact, you have to let them fail. You have to let them make mistakes. Now, most people will struggle that, I can do this. I can do it faster instead of letting my team finish the design or doing the work. But if you keep doing that, then people are not going to learn. Your staff is not going to learn how to really finish their job. Another one, please? Ambition. Yes, that's a very good attribute. You should always have big ambition. But the only thing I want you to condition that ambition is that don't drive yourself crazy. It's great to have ambition, but yet you don't need to plan it out for 20 years. In fact, I have no idea at the time when I graduated from Cal, I would be doing what I'm doing now. I have no idea that, after going to Solomon Brothers, going through all the sales and trading program, I would end up running a software company. In fact, I don't even program. And so it's great to have ambition. In fact, better than ambition is to have a very flexible attitude toward opportunities. And you should always think big. But don't enslave yourself that you must do this or that by a certain time. And related to ambition, there's always a lot of noise about, I need to be very creative, I need to be innovative. These are all the noise and jargon that we're all throwing out in the air. And sometimes it could be very confusing for you guys as students. That's okay. The best thing to do is not to, kind of get rid of these chatters in your head. You don't need to think about innovation. Just be and do. The innovation part will come to you if you focus on it, if you just direct your energy. And instead of forcing yourself to be innovative, say, I have to be innovative. Otherwise, I can't compete with, technical graduates from India or from China. That doesn't matter. You are in a very dynamic ecosystem. Take advantage of what you have today and then just let it blossom. Another one? Integrity. Thank you. I was hoping someone would say that. In the real world, once you are out there, the opportunities that you're going to have to challenge your integrity is amazing. It's overwhelming. And all I can tell you is don't change and don't give in and don't compromise. And I'll give you a perfect example. Even though we are by far the largest software vendor in the energy space, Enron was never my customer. Even though they have actually contacted us, and I told my sales guy, you know what, I just don't like these guys. Don't ask me why, I just don't like them. No, that's not true. I know some of the people that end up working at Enron, and I just knew their characters and their lack of integrity. So I actually asked my team, don't bother selling to Enron. Now, when Enron went down, it took, a couple of my customers down. So that was the first time our revenue actually dropped by quite a bit. But it didn't kill us. That was a good thing. Another one? Yes. Making mistake is okay. It's perfectly okay to make mistakes. Otherwise, you're not going to get better. And mistake I make many times, basically, at times we will overcommit, and then it's going to come back and bite us. So we have to basically, instead of being too aggressive, committing resources, we have to scale back. We have to, I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, we are struggling with one of our customers, Petrobras, the largest state-owned energy companies in Brazil. So here's the mistake we made. We were running the project as if we were running a project in North America or Europe. But I'm not criticizing the Brazilian culture, but this culture is very different. They would start the project, but they would never sign off on all the steps and critical milestones that we agree, or we would agree while working through the projects. And so after a year working with our customers, they still wouldn't sign off on anything. So we basically keep providing free resources. And we are still struggling to get to the end of the project. So now we have to change the way we do business in Brazil. So we fire our managing director in Sao Paulo. But that's okay, we learn. Another one.
The ability to find good policy solving.
Yes. In fact, that's a blessing and a curse of being a Berkeley engineer. The ability to really identify challenging problems and solving them. And so, in my case, doing trading and risk management in both financial and energy markets is not the most sexy thing, but it's definitely the most complicated, very difficult stuff to do. So, I didn't come up with the, application like social networks and all those stuff because that would be, too easy, right? We have to get to the most difficult stuff and then have very little customer base. No. Another one? Thank you. So don't take things for granted. Always challenge and question what you do. That's great. You know what, guys? So just a really short period of time we have, you pretty much identify all the key ingredients being a successful engineer with great leadership skills. So you have it. It's not some magic formula you need to follow. But what you need is that you need a very conducive environment that can actually allow you to bring all these qualities out, to try them. I think this is what we hope to do with the programs, is to give you the opportunities. Allow you to make mistakes, allow you to challenge some of the convention, allow you to really push yourself. I spoke to one of the students earlier about the program. I mean, the program is not going to change you. The program is going to change your own mindset, your view about the world. and give you a permit to be creative, a permit to try things that you otherwise wouldn't try if you haven't gone through the program. So that's how you should look at the engineeringship program. We are just helping you to help yourself and do all those wonderful things. Now, initially, I was going to talk about why, in a more dry and boring conversation, all this problem that we face today. But you know what? I think if you guys can take advantage of programs like this, you can solve those problems. I don't have to worry about them. So that's it. That's all I have. You guys have all the ingredients to make it. And you just need to push yourself and try out.
Questions, Coleman?
Yes.
Since we're being recorded, may I request questioners to come to one of these two microphones? And if you can identify yourselves, that would be even better.
So I probably messed up the recording with all these.
I think they're not. So, and I think the students have to be given distinct priority to faculty and staff. Is that right?
Doesn't matter. Question open up to anybody.
Hi, I'm Riley Reese. I'm a fourth year in bioengineering and material science and engineering. And I was just wondering, I guess, a general question on how businesses interpret a Master's of Engineering degree, this new program that you've introduced, versus the Master's of Science degree that we've traditionally had. I guess, what are their views on that in hiring and what they're looking for?
Well, I can't speak for everyone, but from OpenLink's perspective as a software company, someone who have gone to a more professional-oriented degree will have more experience in running projects, know how to organize things, will have really good understanding about budgets and finance, so that they know, in addition to being, say, a technical lead, we can send the person out to customers and really interact that way. So if you look at the program, the way we organize, a big component of it is, not only the capstone project, but the horizontal bar of the T that give you that kind of perspective. If you just do a normal traditional MS degree, you're not going to get that experience. So even we were to hire someone with that MS, we won't put you in what I call leadership, organizing role. We will just put you as a technical person.
Sure. Then on the same end, does the Masters of Engineering limit you, in a sense, to the technical positions available in industry if you decide to start with a more technical role first?
Well, I can tell you, we can always use more technical people. I don't think there's any limit. So in any event, if you are really in love with doing development of technologies and all that stuff, it's still going to help you, because you need to understand, again, what I said before, you need to really have a bigger picture. How do you take your invention idea and make it happen? So if you're only just going to work and have a more narrow definition of that, you're going to stay very narrow.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi, Coleman.
Hi.
I wonder about, in the realm of leadership, relational skills, people skills, how you factor that in.
Okay. So confession, I'm not a people person. You learn. You will be put in a position that either you're going to learn and adjust, or you're not going to get your project done or get OpenLink up and running. So I don't know what happened, but somehow I was forced to kind of motivate people. So that's why I wish I would have gone through a program like this back then. For me, it was more trial and error. And look, at the end of the day, as much as we like to control all the variables, you can't control people, right? So the best way to do is how to motivate them, how to inspire them, so that they actually do most of the difficult work for you. And that's a fine art. or dog art to get people to work so hard for you. But it's something you develop. So I've been fortunate enough that, or maybe I'm just lucky that I'm always running into good people. And I won't discount that element. I think there's always an element of luck. Timing is everything. So if you look at any successful people and companies, there's always a component of that. So for us, it's the energy deregulation and the fact that I end up getting a very good team of people working for me. So over all these years, my management team, I only have one guy left and went to Accenture. So my team was kind of growing, but pretty much they all stayed. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aaron Alpert. I'm a graduate student in mechanical engineering. Your company resides in sort of an interesting place between the software industry and the energy industry. The software industry being noted for its rapid pace of development and quick deployment and ability to change, whereas the energy industry has been slow to move. So in this sort of interface between two very different industries, one which moves very fast, one which moves much slower, how do you deal with integrating two very different types of business?
Good. Very good question. But not complete yet. Yes, the traditional energies culture is very slow. But because of energy deregulations, a lot of things were changing much, much faster. In fact, new products and new services were developed, and some of them they just didn't know how to manage. And that's why you have a lot of issues in the early days of the deregulations, including some of you guys remember the California problem. And so it's fast in the software, slow in the corporate culture, and then in the specific area of energy risks and trading, it's very convoluted. Which is great for us, because then they need us even more.
But if I could sort of help this question along. So even at that round table, Roger said that the CEO of Duke Energy said, I invest with a 30-year return on interest.
Right.
And all the venture capitalists said, how about 5? And I think, how did you bridge this utilities going on a 30-year scale and OpenLink going at microseconds?
So here's the interesting, there's actually a sort of a different track in the energy space. So Duke was actually a customer of mine before the collapse of Enron and the whole energy trading market. And Duke actually got out of the trading completely. They closed down Duke Energy North America. So you have certain energy companies in the space, for example, like Duke, they chose not to be involved in the wholesale market. Meaning they're just going to generate power. That's all they're going to do. They just focus on that. So you have generation, you have distribution, you have the market trading. So you have many different players in different sectors of those energy market. So it's not just one giant energy market. So in this particular example, Duke chose to be just a power generator, nothing else. So that's why they don't need to worry about the changing types of products that they need to introduce, how they're going to manage the different load for distributions and stuff like that.
Hi, my name is Sam Lee, and I'm a 4th-year EECS major. And my question is, a lot of engineers are able to come up with innovative technical solutions, but then they have to collaborate with people with business background to turn it into a successful business. So how would you say an engineer like us will be able to manage our own solutions and innovations and be successful in an enterprise setting?
Okay, so, well, that's one of the many reasons that we want to create this program, to give you the tools and the training and the capability to take your invention and an idea out. Now, that doesn't mean you will never work with other people. That's not what I said. Because, in fact, one of the points that we highlight is that we have to work with a lot of people. But with the proper training, you will be in much better control. Back to the control issue. To deal with these business guys, to deal with these sales and marketing guys who tend to over-exaggerate things. And so it's very important. I'm not saying that you should, once you've done this, you don't need any other business partner. No, that's not what I'm saying. but you will be in much better shape to how to work with these people and understand their approach and their view and have a much better productive relationship.
Hi, my name is Dominic. I'm a third year in environmental engineering science.
Okay.
And we've talked a lot about energy today, and it's been a hot topic with the Global Tech Conference earlier in the week. And I was wondering, as someone who wants to get into the area of energy and the environment, in respect to like the technical designations of the program, are there any opportunities for there to be more offered later in the future, and especially in the areas of energy?
Yes, thank you for this question. This is a great marketing point for me to highlight the program. So right now we have 16 concentration area, but that's really the beginning. Our goal is to actually develop more concentration, but more interdisciplinary area. So in one of the programs that we really want to push for the academic year 2012 is energy systems and market. And so yes, there's, again, the professional nature of the program, one particular important aspect of it is we want to be very current with all the emerging trends and technologies and development. And so we want to be very creative and giving you, the student as well as faculty, to come up with ideas in partnership with companies and industry. So yes, we definitely want to focus on that, and it's on the agenda for the next year's concentration. So it's perfect. You're third year, and by the time you graduate, you'll be ready.
Again, I want to give you a heads up also. I'm sure that's your. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kenzan Do. I'm a fourth year in ECS. My question is, a lot of us graduating are considering either, for example, going into industry or going to this program. What are the advantages of this and compared to going into industry and learning these skills while working in industry?
Okay, look, at the end of the day, you can replace real experience working at a company. So depending on the position that you're going to get, if you really have a great working job offer that's going to really offer you a lot of learning experiences, I think you should take it, because the educational component, the program is not disappearing. And you can always come back and really take more advantage of it. So I don't want to say, no, sign up for the program. No, if you have a great job, you should do it. You should learn. You should really push yourself. And then you can actually bring a lot of that experience into the classroom in a year or two and make the learning environment more enriched.
Hi, my name is Akhil. I'm a third year EE and materials science major. You mentioned that leadership is something that we all have, but it's maybe harnessed until we can tap into it. But I was wondering about entrepreneurship, which is the path that you took, and if that's something that's inborn or something that we can cultivate. And I ask you this because when I look at some of the very successful entrepreneurs and founders of great businesses today, they seem to have deficiencies in some of the qualities that we mentioned today.
Well, I'm a glass half full person, so I'm not going to focus on what's missing. But let's talk about the entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is actually, to me, a critical component of leadership. As a CEO of a company or as a leader of a group, you need to know how to take risks and do things to get things done, right? So entrepreneurship to me is not just about starting a company. It's just how to think creatively and about solving problems and getting things done. And so it's just equally important. Now, you actually asked a very good question in the sense, well, do you think it's inside, is nature or nurture? I have given one of the talk, Mastering the Sport of Entrepreneurship. This is back a few years ago. You do have it, but again, depending on your own personality, similar to what I highlighted before, being engineers, we tend to be very obsessive compulsive. How set a person are you? Some people, they are very set in their way. And if you are that kind of person, you need to think about how to change your behavior, even just your day-to-day operation, your day-to-day life. Do you like to always walk the same path from your house to campus, or do you like to explore? So you have to figure out first, you have to baseline yourself. what kind of person you are. Are you adventurous? Are you very set in your way? If you are very set in your way, then start thinking about, I'm giving you like a 2-minute version of what I gave. Well, then change your behavior, change your way of looking at things. Challenge yourself, put yourself in uncomfortable positions, and including like doing public speakings. You should have seen me when I was undergrad here. And we were forced to take technical communication. I'm sure we still have to do that. You know what? That was the best class for me. So seriously, that class changed the way I look at things, because the instructor at the time said to me, I know you guys are always complaining coming to technical communications, as an engineer, you don't need to write, you don't need to do anything. That's not true. You do spend so much time writing and giving presentation. By all means, take full advantage of that class.
So between nature and nurture, you come down on the nurture side.
Did I come down on the nurture side?
No,
I'm not coming down on anything. This is being a very creative person that I'm not answering that question. You figure that out.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lena Wu, and I'm a 4th-year chemical engineering student. I'm actually very interested in using my technical skills and becoming a leader in the industry. And for the most part, most engineers in the past have gone through the MBA program, going through industry and going to the MBA program. What's the advantage of instead applying to this program? How will this program make you shine more than being an engineer, working with business people in an MBA program?
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 versions of it, 2 answers. One is the official, institute answer. That the MBA program tend to attract more candidates with more working experience, that a lot of the time they may actually change their career, being from a technical, with technical expertise into a really pure management role. That's the official answer. So my unofficial answer, if you read my quote in the brochure, so I make it very subtle. We're looking for doers. We're looking for doers who really going to focus on real stuff, real invention, real innovation, and then do something with it. So I actually make that comment in the commencement speech a couple years ago, that I say, look, the American industry, we changed so much over the years. So when you talk about, what are our sort of well-known American industry? Yes, high tech is still, up there. But you have finance. Now, this is before the crash, but still. Finance, legal, accounting. No, I have nothing against these, businesses, and I have a lot of friends in that area. But to me, these are all what I call support services. They don't exist if we don't have a business. So I don't need so many people moving money around in Wall Street if I don't have really productive businesses. Businesses get actually going to generate wealth. So I kind of create the wealth creation, the wealth transferring, and wealth consuming. So we want to focus, we hope through this program, more doer that's going to focus on the wealth creation, not moving monies around, not filing lawsuits and doing all this stuff. To me, is unproductive. And now, let me just add another sort of side comment. With unlimited finance funding for political campaigns, we become even more inefficient because we're going to waste so much resources on every 2 years.
Hi, Coleman. First of all, thank you for speaking today and for all your generous donations. I'm sure everyone appreciates it. But my question for you, today we discussed all the great qualities that engineers have, but you mentioned we need an environment that is inspiring and draws out these qualities. So as a leader, what have you done and how have you been successful in creating this environment that does draw out these qualities and help engineers and everyone work to their greatest level?
Setting up the institute, harassing Shankar and the rest of the team, that took a lot of effort. In addition to that, I do a lot of sort of mentorship with students and my own staff to make sure that they can open up their sort of perspective to, help change the world. I think we need a lot more creative engineers to really focus on solving a lot of challenging big problems that we have.
I want to be sure that the last question. But here's an engineering leader. He's a former VP of Research at Nortel and Dean of Engineering at Santa Clara. I'm just putting you on the spot.
I was hoping you were going to ask me a question, Shankar. My name is Dan Pitt, and I'm delighted with the formation of this center. I wish I'd had graduates from this center when I was hiring engineers at IBM, HP, Bay Networks, and Nortel. So let me just ask you a question about the center that I'm sure the students will have an interest in. What is the ideal involvement of industry in this center and the involvement of industry with the students during their time in the center?
Oh, thanks. That's a very good question. In fact, it's a very critical component of the program, is to really develop tighter working relationship with industries, because they are the really eyes and ears of our economies. What's going on? What are they struggling with? What type of problems that they have? Which is quite a bit different from academic research, because academic research, we have a lot more time, we have a lot more space to do the brainstorming. The industry, they don't have that luxury. Either they make it or they don't. Either they can upgrade the product or service, someone else will. So that's the sense of urgency and timeliness, that dynamic changes, that is so critical. And for students to really understand that and to get a taste of what it's like working in a startup or in a big company, managing, even though a component of the project is invaluable.
I think it's a great center, and I congratulate all those who participated in its creation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coleman. I'm sure this is the only Stanford graduate we're going to applaud this weekend. I'd like to thank Coleman and our guests for attending. We've enjoyed your remarks. A videotape of this talk will be available starting Monday, November 29th, not this Monday, the Monday a week from now, on the web, on the college website. I'd like to thank our student groups who co-sponsor this event for their support. They are Theta Tau Professional Co-ed Engineering Fraternity and Tau Beta Pi Engineering Honor Society. I look forward to seeing everyone again next semester for View from the Top. I can already tell you by way of a preview, we'll have Paul Odolini and Paul Jacobs, two major CEOs in the spring, at dates to be determined. Thank you all very much for joining us today, and go Bears!